Hey guys, it's me, the dude who talks, and welcome. I'm back from my slumber and I'm ready to do a completely subjective list of my favourite albums of 2021. Now, you don't really need me to say this, but yes, this year has been shit pandemic wise, but however, this year has been absolutely great for music. There's been a whole ton of releases that have made this list one of the hardest ones I've had to make for this channel. I've also had to double check a few to just check that it's 2021 because let's be honest, this year and last year have been a bit of a blur. So with this list, I'm just going to get stuck into it. So yeah, hope you enjoy. So we're going to start this off with the first one on my list, and that is Electric Haze with their debut album Get In Line. Now, you may not have realised that I reviewed this album earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. Now, normally when I review albums or when they get sent to me and when I finish reviewing them, I just tend to put them to one side because I listen to so much of it when I'm reviewing it like over and over again, like multiple times, that I just want to break and listen to something else after I've reviewed it. But recently I came back to this album and the points that I thought about this album in my review definitely still hold up. It's a really fun album. For me, it's a palate cleanser, especially when I listen to a lot of like dark, heavy metal or whatever. And yeah, it definitely still holds up. Really fun album. So yeah, that's starting off my list. So the next one on my list is Pupil Slicer with Mirrors. So another fantastic debut. These guys are from the United Kingdom and they're gaining a lot of traction, which is absolutely amazing. And for good reason. This album is absolutely fantastic. It is an intense mindfuck of a listen. So yeah, do yourself a favour if you haven't already, go check this album out. So next up is from a band that I've not really checked out other than their debut album, which is Dead Mountain Mouth, and yes, I'm talking about Genghis Tron. So I was surprised when they brought out Dream Weapon out because I really liked their first album. I thought it was chaotic and really intense. Well, Dream Weapon isn't as heavy as that album. I thought some of the elements that they incorporated into this album was fantastic. Had a little like dreamy, like shoegaze elements into it, but still keeping some of the heaviness. And it was made for a really unique listen in my opinion. So yeah. So my next entry is going to be Our Bodies Burn Bright on Re-Entry by Underdark. Truly fantastic album, especially if you were a bit disappointed with the direction that Death Heaven have gone in now, which is pure shoegaze. I'm not throwing any shade at them, you know me, I love shoegaze, but if you're missing that heaviness along with the lighter side of things, definitely give this band a shot. It's a really cracking album. Yeah, go check it out. So my next entry is one that's been a long time coming. I'm talking about Migration by the ever so brilliant Bossk. Now, I was a bit concerned whether they were going to follow up to Not Audio Noir because, in my opinion, Audio Noir is a flawless album. Luckily, they didn't try to emulate Audio Noir and just made an album that just stands up on its own, in my opinion. I really love the guest vocalists on this record as well. I'm not the biggest fan of Palm Reader, but the song HTV3 is absolutely incredible. And yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, we've got one monster of an album next. And this entry is Leave Me the Ashes of the Earth by the absolutely fucking mighty Mastiff. Of course this album was going to be on the list. I couldn't do this list without this album. Yeah, fucking incredible. These guys should be absolutely big by now, so yeah, go pick up this album and go see what all the hype is about. You'll not be disappointed. So this entry is a bit of a change from some of the albums on this list, and it's an album that I didn't expect to like as much, but I saw it like on Instagram a lot, like a lot of people like posted this album up, like the vinyl of it, and saying yeah, it's really good, and I didn't know much about it. So I decided to check it out myself. So I'm talking about Floating Points with their album Promises, which features Pharoah Sanders on saxophone and the London Orchestra. I think it's the Philharmonic one. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lazy on researching. But anyway, the album is absolutely beautiful. It's like jazz, but it's like midnight jazz where you just want to listen to it at night. It's just, you really have to listen to it to really fully appreciate it. And honestly, it became an absolute favourite for me this year. And yeah. Oh, a cat has just nicked my chair. So this is a collaboration album, the next entry on my list. It's between Big Brave and The Body, and the album is called Leaving None But Small Promises. Now, I always feel a bit bad because I want to really check out more releases from The Body because they seem to be like very like diverse in the metal scene, in my opinion. And I was interested to see what they'd do with Big Brave. Now, I really liked The Body's collaboration with Vow. I think that's absolutely incredible. So I went into this absolutely blind to see what it was, and I was really, really surprised in such a best way. It's like country, but it's so much more than that. It's really enticing to listen to, and yeah, even my partner loved this, and she's not really into the exact same music as me. She always criticising some of my music taste sometimes, but she absolutely really liked this, and yeah, go listen to it. Next one is a local one, hailing all the way from Wigan. I'm talking about Family to Smiling Thrush by Bossk Keloid. Now, these guys do something really unique with stoner metal, and it is just fantastic to listen to, and it goes to show you, now I've actually said this before about these guys, that you don't have to rip off Black Sabbath to sound like stoner metal, but these guys pull it off so well, sounding unique, mixing a bit of like progressive elements and a bit of psychedelic there thrown into the mix. It works really well. This one was a bit of a late discovery after discovering this album 2 weeks ago. It is The Path of the Clouds by Marissa Nadler. Now, I've only heard one of Marissa Nadler's albums beforehand, and actually that's a lie. Drone Flower as well with Stephen Brodsky. But I've never really done a deep dive on Marissa Nadler. So when I noticed Marissa had brought out a new album, Path of the Clouds, I decided to put my foot down and pick up the album. So yeah, very dreamy, very enticing, and very endearing to listen to. And it's been a repeat listen for me like pretty much almost every day the past week or so. Next entry is Employed to Serve with Conquering. Now, I only need to say a couple of words about this album. It is hard as fuck. Another album on this list was another that I've reviewed, and it is Bruit with their very long title, The Machine Is Burning and Everyone Knows It Can Happen Again. I really like their take on post-rock, I really like them as a band, and this album was absolutely incredible to listen to. Really mesmerising, really beautiful. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say about this, go check it out. This next entry is me giving into the hype, and for very good reason, because this album is absolutely incredible. I'm talking about Glow On by Turnstile. So yeah, you probably know what they sound like if you're hearing me talk about this, so I'm just going to keep this brief. 90s hardcore with a lot of different elements thrown in. It's really unique sounding in my opinion, and they're doing something really fresh. Yeah, go check it out. So next entry on this list is a band that I've not really properly checked out since the early days. I'm talking about Every Time I Die and Radical. I decided to get back on it, and wow, this album is fucking incredible. And I think they're playing Outbreak Breakfest next year, and I'm definitely gonna go catch them live again because they're still just as good live, I hope. But anyway, yeah, Radical, really good album. Go check it out. So this is another entry on the list which you might consider to be another odd one out, but might not be considering my music taste. So yeah, for this one I'm talking about Balmorhea with the album The Wind. It is really beautiful and very serene and very calming. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's really exciting to listen to. Very classical sounding, and also, yeah, very modern as well. So yeah, go give it a listen. Next entry is Spectral Wound with a Diabolic First. Heard a lot of great things on the grapevine with like Instagram and stuff, and I just had to check it out for myself, and I was like, fuck me, this album is incredible. Frigid and Spellbound is one hell of a song. This album is another one that I reviewed and has stuck with me ever since, and even more seeing them live at Damnation Festival. I'm talking about Year of No Light with Consolamentum. This album is absolutely monstrous. It sounds apocalyptic in places and kind of sounds like a more metal Godspeed You Black Emperor. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say next, so yeah, go pick it up if you haven't. Go listen to it. Get it in your ear lobes, on your ear holes, whatever your preference of listening to music. Go listen to this. So we're at the end game here with the third entry, and it is Full of Hell with their album Garden of Burning Apparitions. I literally got very excited when they announced a pre-order for this album, and I've never been so quick to go on PayPal and go, yes, paying free, because you know I'm quite skint at times. Anyway, this album is incredible. They do what they do best, which is just make heaviness sound heavy, but they've incorporated a lot of noise elements as well, and a different couple of interesting elements into this album thrown in. Sounds amazing. So yeah, number 2, and this is an album that I've been waiting almost a long time for. I was like really impressed with their debut. Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and say who this is. It's Slow Crush with their album Hush. Aurora was such a fantastic album. Like with many others on this list, I was wondering how they'd follow up with from that. But yeah, Hush is really emotive, it's beautiful sounding, and yet sounds so abrasive and heavy. Yeah, it is a fantastic listen. Okay, it's time for number 1. And you know when you listen to an album for the first time and you just know that this is going to be absolutely special, and you just think, yes, this is going to be my number 1 favourite album of the year. Well, I had that a couple of weeks ago when I finally got this album after Spark Records sent it to the wrong place, I think. And anyway, I finally got this album in my hand after patiently waiting for it. I decided to listen to it blind. I didn't listen to it Spotify beforehand. Yeah, I'm talking about Black Harvest with Green Lung. They followed on from their last album, and I didn't think they would top it, but fuck me, they did. This album is fucking amazing. Yeah, I know I'm gonna say go check it out, but you really should. If you're fed up of like the same old kind of dross with stoner rock and just want something that's fresh but sounding a bit familiar at the same time, I recommend you should pick this album up and listen to it. I love like the lyrical inspirations with folk horror and just like the kind of Britishness about it as well. Yeah, Black Harvest by Green Lung is my number 1 favourite album of 2021. So that was me talking about my favourite albums of 2021. I'm very interested to hear your opinion about them. Did you disagree with them or did you agree with them? Please sound off down below in the comments section. I'm even more interested to know what your favourite albums of 2021 were. So yeah, still sound off in the comment section below. I'm really interested to hear about it. I'd normally do some safekeeping here, and like, share, subscribe, follow me on my Instagram, ego boost, whatever. But I'm not gonna do that. You watching this video is support enough for me, so thank you so much for that. I'm hoping to return to doing videos full time next year, if that interests you in any way. So yeah, that's it from me. I've been the dude who talks. You guys are still, as ever, fucking awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.